April 1st, 2025. The Red Sea, one of the most heavily monitored and strategically vital waterways in the world. At 2 a.m. under the cover of night, a sudden alarm shattered the stillness aboard the USS Harry S. Truman, a nuclear-powered supercarrier, carrying more than 5,000 sailors and dozens of advanced aircraft. What began as a blip on radar soon escalated into one of the most dangerous swarm drone attacks ever attempted against the United States Navy. This wasn't just another skirmish. It was a calculated strike by Yemen's Houthi rebels, a challenge aimed directly at America's naval dominance. And within minutes, the world's most powerful carrier strike group found itself fighting for survival, the attack. The threat was first detected by long-range radar aboard the escorting destroyer USS Mason. At first, operators thought the fast-moving signatures were seabirds or radar clutter, but when the objects accelerated, shifted formation and dove toward the fleet, all doubts disappeared. They weren't birds. They were drones. 15 hostile UAVs. An assortment of Iranian supplied Samad 3 and KAS-04. Kamikaze drones were racing across the sea at low altitude, hugging the waves to evade detection. Each carried explosives large enough to cripple a destroyer. And if even one hit the carrier's flight deck, the consequences would be catastrophic. Within seconds, alarms, blared battle stations were manned. The Truman's layered defenses roared to life-layered defense in action. The first response came from the Aegis combat system aboard the USS Mason and USS Gravely SM-2 surface-to-air missiles launched into the night, streaking toward the incoming swarm. Several drones were obliterated, many their wreckage raining into the sea in fireballs. But others flew lower using the sea's surface to mask their radar signature as they closed within 5 kilometers of the fleet. The second defensive ring activated the Truman's Phalanx, CYWS, radar-guided Gatling guns, capable of spitting 4,500 rounds per minute. Open fire. The night sky lit up with tracer shredding. Several more UAVs. Still, some managed to push close to the evolved Sea Sparrow missiles. ESSM provided another layer of interception, swatting down drones that slipped between missile and gun coverage. One UAV came within seconds of striking the carrier's starboard side before exploding. Just short, destroyed by a last second. ESSM hit overhead EA-18G Growler electronic warfare jets. Joined the fight. Their jamming signals severed control links between healthy operators and their drones, causing multiple UAVs to spiral helplessly into the sea. This invisible shield proved as effective as missiles and bullets by 2:18 a.m. All 15 healthy drones had been destroyed. The Truman and her escort stood unscathed. The U.S. Navy had passed the test, the counterattack. The message was clear. This was no random strike. It was an attempt to humiliate a U.S. carrier, to prove that even the most powerful warship in the world could be touched by cheap expendable drones. The response was swift. By the evening of April 2nd, a joint U.S. operation was underway. MQ-9 Reaper drones conducted reconnaissance, identifying healthy command posts and drone warehouses near Saturn Sun. From offshore destroyers, Tomahawk cruise missiles launch in waves, striking hardened bunkers, storage depots, and radar sites. Meanwhile, FA-18E Super Hornets roared off the Truman's deck, dropping precision-guided bombs on launch sites, and infrastructure Growler returned to the skies, jamming their defenses to protect the strike package. Above Yemen, the operation expanded further. B-1B Lancer bombers flying in from Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar unleashed massive payloads on underground facilities, believed to house long-range UAVs even below the surface. A Virginia-class attack submarine joined the fight, firing Tomahawks from the depths with pinpoint accuracy. Within 36 hours, more than 30 Houthis targets were destroyed. Drone stockpiles, communication hubs, and control centers lay in ruins. For the Houthis, the cost of a single attempted strike had escalated into the loss of years of infrastructure. Strategic implications for the Houthis. The attack was meant to demonstrate strength. Instead, it triggered the largest U.S. retaliation in the Red Sea. In years, their drone capabilities were crippled, their leadership shaken, and their propaganda narrative shattered. For the U.S. Iraq, the incident was more than a tactical engagement. It was a warning to adversaries worldwide. America's carrier strike groups remain untouchable, protected by layered defenses, electronic warfare, and global reach. No militia, no swarm of cheap drones can outmatch the coordination, training, and technology of the U.S. Navy, but it also raised difficult questions. How could inexpensive UAVs force the world's most powerful navy to unleash such a massive response? And what does this say about the future of asymmetric warfare? The answers underline a new reality in modern conflicts. Even low-cost weapons can reshape strategy, the future of naval warfare. The Red Sea incident underscored a turning point in military strategy. For decades, dominance at sea was measured by the size of fleets and the sophistication of warships. This clash showed that small, inexpensive technologies like drones and unmanned systems can now force the most powerful navy in the world to adjust its tactics. Naval warfare is no longer a contest of giants alone. It has become a battlefield where agility and innovation matter as much as sheer strength for the U.S. Navy. This means preparing for a multi-layered threat environment. Defenses must not only counter advanced missiles from rival states, but also neutralize cheap, fast, and unpredictable systems deployed by irregular forces. Investment in artificial intelligence, automated defenses, and real-time threat detection will be key to maintaining supremacy. The ability to adapt quickly, anticipate unconventional strategies, and neutralize swarms of threats will define the next era of maritime dominance globally. This signals a broader transformation in how conflicts at sea will be fought. Future naval warfare will not just be about power projection, but about that vital sea lanes remain open and secure in the face of evolving challenges. Whether it's drones, cyber attacks, or electronic disruption, nations will have to balance traditional firepower with cutting-edge innovation. The Red Sea battle may ultimately be remembered as a preview of how tomorrow's oceans will be contested in the end. The attack on April 1st was not the humiliation the Houthis had hoped for. Instead, it became a textbook demonstration of layered defense, rapid retaliation, and overwhelming American power. The Truman and her escorts emerged unscathed while the Houthis were left with smoking ruins and silenced launch pads. But the bigger lesson is clear. Naval warfare has entered a new era. The next great threats may not come from battleships or submarines, from small silent drones launched from a truck bed hundreds of miles away. So what do you think? Was this the beginning of a new kind of drone warfare at sea, or just a desperate gamble by a militia out of its depth? The deck cleared of debris. The destroyers surged forward unscathed at their core. The sky lit up like a muffled thunder. Drones turned to confetti in a storm of American steel. What began as a Houthis ambush had flipped into a testament to us resolve, but the night was far from over. The dust hadn't even settled on the Red Sea's choppy waves before the U.S. Navy's machinery of retribution roared to life by 7:12 p.m., just 18 hours after the Houthis' drones lit up the night sky. The Pentagon command centers had greenlit a precision counterstrike that would redefine dominance in these contested waters. Emergency briefings in Washington echoed with resolve. This wasn't mere retaliation. It was a surgical dismantling of the threat, ensuring no repeat of the ambush that had left 2 sailors bandaged and a radar antenna in shards. Medics aboard the USS Gravely had stabilized the wounded in minutes. Deep lacerations stitched, fractured wrists splintered, while damage control teams patched the deck, gouges, and rerouted signals through backups. The destroyers, hearts unbeaten, steamed onward, their crews channeling the sting into focused fury. Phase 1 unfolded with electronic shadows. EA-18G growlers. Escort had spiraled into utter devastation for the attackers from Yemen, Saudi border strongholds. Their 50 fighters were decimated. 15 to 20 confirmed dead in collapsing bunkers and follow-up strikes. Drone sites obliterated. No escape from Reaper eyes. For the U.S. Navy Air Force, costs were light, the badge of unyielding toughness. The 2 sailors' wounds, laceration stitched, wrist splintered, mended, swiftly shattered antenna, and deck scars, patched without halting ops. 0 fatalities. Full readiness restored ripples. Spread-wide oil prices jumped 10% weekly. Jittery markets reacting to the brief disruption before stabilizing with HHY threats. You liked our video? Please hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel.